Greetings and thanks again, Yusuf. We always appreciate deeply what you do to set atmosphere. And to continue with atmosphere, we're going to simply listen with one other piece of music. This was the first of the Mariam cycle of dances. This is the music to that very first of the dances. Ask Yusuf and Jyoti if they could play that music for us.
Today I am going to start what I consider one of the most important talks I've ever given in my whole life. And the very fact is important.
So we've entered the portal.
may give you a right to question or challenge me.
Get you to stop the sound share. There. So welcome. Welcome to this evening where we enter the vibration of the Magdalene. And we hear from those who have been working deeply in this field with Amina McMakin to bring forth some of the lost mysteries that we continue to recover. Welcome to Columbus, Ohio Zoom room. Once a month, I just looked in the calendar. For 6 years, we've done explorations, Universalist and Sufi explorations into the Divine Feminine here. And I just am very grateful that tonight Amina Linda has agreed to come and open her heart and mind to the work that she has been doing since 2008. Before we begin, let's take hands across virtual space. Either hold your hands and take hands with the people next to you, or simply close your eyes with your hands on your heart. For those who know it, we're going to say the invocation of Hazrat Inayat Khan. We do that in an inclusive way. Tonight we will use 2 words. We'll use the word messenger and mystery. Messenger to join with our sisters and brothers in the Anayatiya order who are using this language to be inclusive. And we'll use mystery because we're in this this veils being very thin for all of the various holidays that come together between the end of October and the 1st of November. And we're in a time of great mystery and great wonder when the veils are very thin. So we say together, toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the messenger, the mystery, the spirit of guidance. And now we say the Kore blessing. Let me see if I can get that into the chat for you. I'll try. Everything lost is found again in a new form, in a new way. Everything hurt is healed again in a new time, in a new day. Change is. Touch is. Touch is. Change is. Change us. Touch us. Touch us. Change us. 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 Amen. So in keeping with what we generally do is we acknowledge the great women, the great goddesses, the divine feminine and all her expressions for this particular month. Here we are in November, and all I'm going to do tonight, rather than give you much explanation, is just to simply name and acknowledge. We all know we've gone through the fall Triduum from Samhain and through All Saints' Day and Kaliak Day and Dia de los Muertos and All Souls' Day. The highlighted goddesses are Caridwen, Hecate, and actually the night of Hecate in November is November 16, from sundown till sundown of the 17th. Morgan, an Irish goddess, Persephone, another Greek goddess, along with Isis. Did you know that during the time of the before 100 AD or CE, that the festival of Isis went from October 31 to November 3. The festival of Isis predates them all. All of these have great significance and great connection between their themes. And I'm not going to go into the themes. I'm hoping to invite you to do a little bit of your own research for those of you who haven't looked into these. On the 8th is the Japanese goddess, I'll have to read this, Kamul Fuchi. November 11th is the old Samhain before it moved to the 31st, the day of the fairy city. So November 16th, as I said, is Hecate night. November 22, feast day of Saint Cecilia, and she syncretized to the Orisha goddess Oshun. November 25th, feast day of Catherine of Siena, who syncretizes to the Orisha Oba. 27th, the Hindu goddess Parvati. November 28th, the Egyptian goddesses Hathor and Sekhmet. And November 30 is Day of Mawu, the African creatrix goddess. A lot of energy, a lot of feminine energy for this incredible month that we are in. So with that, we're going to shift our energy to the great feminine that's symbolized in and through the Magdalene. And I'm happy to turn this over to Amina Linda McMakin. And in the flyer that went out, there was a little PDF that spoke about her personal history with this work and the history of the work in general and the history of the flourishing of the Magdalene. I'm going to let Amina Linda speak to you tonight about what of that she wishes to highlight. She's a dance leader, a mentor, a charade. She's been around for a long time, and since 2008 devoting her life to the feminine through the Magdalene. So please, Amina, we are here to receive from you tonight. Thank you. And thank you everyone who's here. I see people from far away as Turkey to Mexico to the southeast to Australia to the Columbus, Ohio, everywhere, Colorado. It's wonderful. We're quite a community tonight. Welcome, and thank you, Amina.
Thank you, Manira. I'm so pleased to have been invited to share a bit about my journey with Dancing with Mary Magdalene. Before I get into what I'm trying to capture 15 years in about 2 paragraphs, so we'll see how much we get to tonight. But I'd like us to begin by an invocation to Mary, which we can say together, and we're going to put that up on the share screen. So if you would, just say this with me, or you can just breathe in the words. Blessed are you, Miriam, for you did not waver at the sight of the risen Master. You who were his companion and whom he loved more than any other woman. Holy Bride, apostle to the apostles, be at my right shoulder as I walk forth in the infinite light, and bless me with the healing balm of your eternal presence. Wa'alam, Amin, Amen. And if you would just breathe those words in for just a moment, feeling Mary's presence as she joins us this evening, and hopefully she'll keep us on track. So I'm just wondering about the view. I've still got Munira on the screen and then gallery above. So is that okay, the way that is? Okay, I'm assuming you all can see me, so I'll keep going. So as Munira said, the music that you heard at the very beginning is called Miriam. It was the first dance that came through. And this happened on Easter Eve, March 2008. As I'm still finding it hard to believe that I've been on this journey for 15 years, and it seems like it's going to continue. So I'll just keep doing it until I don't, I guess. When that dance came through, I really was surprised. I had been reading the Gnostic Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the commentary by Jean-Yves Leloup. And just let me say at this point, I hadn't planned on reading this book. I had purchased it a few years before and had read through it, and then put it on the bookshelf. So it just sort of dropped off the shelf into my hand one day. And I started reading it again, and I realized that I was seeing it with new eyes. So consequently, while I was reading a section entitled Miriam of Magdala, which I later found out is a European form of the name, I heard the words Miriam de Magdalena. And at the same time, I heard a melody, which wasn't typical at all of what I usually composed. As we know from many of the ancient traditions, a name carries power. And I think it was the power and vibration of this ancient name, Miriam of Magdala, that resonated so deeply in my being, and it brought these dances forth. But to go back to the story, imagine my surprise when the next morning, on Easter morning, the second dance came through, and it's called the Alabaster Jar, and we're going to dance this one shortly. Again, I wasn't planning to create a Mary Magdalene dance cycle, and at that point, I thought, well, this is good, and I thought that was going to be the end of it. But no. So during this initial dance creation process, I came to realize that Easter is the time of year that is most charged with Mary's energy and her relationship with Jesus because of the sequence of events that surround his crucifixion and resurrection, and the fact that Mary was there every step of the way. The subject of this dance, the Alabaster Jar, is the anointing of Jesus by Mary, and is one of the most significant references to her found in both all the canonical Gospels and some of the Gnostic Gospels. In early Christian symbolism, a vase, or the alabaster jar in this case, represented the container of the soul, the container being the human heart. The oil was the soul itself, and the essence of the soul, our true nature, was represented by the fragrance of the oil. The degree of Mary's attainment is indicated when it is said in the scriptures that the perfume from her vase filled the house. Mary typified the heart path, the path of devotion, when she chose to sit at Yeshua's feet and then later to anoint them with spikenard, that rare and costly oil. In the Gospel of the Beloved Companion, Jesus says to the disciples after the anointing, "She has anointed me for what I am come to do, and done what she is appointed to do. Only from the truth I tell you, whenever they speak of me, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." And we now know that this is true. So this is the initial attunement to the dance, this mystical meaning of the vase and the oil and the fragrance. But over the years, other layers of meaning have arisen. So we could now say that this story also introduces Mary's role as a myrrh bearer and the first to anoint him prior to the crucifixion. There's also a theory by some that Mary may have been a temple priestess whose duties would have included anointing those who are about to die or to receive spiritual initiation. In other words, a death doula. So I'm going to sing the words with you a couple of times for this dance, and then I'll show you the movements. And you'll find the words in the chat as well. So they are: the alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. And we'll sing that twice. I'm turning up my volume a little bit here. And then we have holy names: Adonai Yeshua, Lord Jesus, or the Lord, the Savior, the Lord, and Kala Mashiach, which is the anointed bride. Some of you know this. I've seen some familiar, very familiar faces out there. The alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. The alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. Adonai Yeshua, Kala Mashiach. The alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. The alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. Adonai Yeshua, Kala Mashiach. So I'm going to show you the movements, and then we will do the dance with the recording. So I'm hoping that you all can hear me okay. And just so you know, you can do this both standing, if you have room. There is a walking forward and back, sidestepping once to the right and the left, or you can just do the hand and arm movements seated if you prefer. So first, the alabaster jar. I'm just going to do my hands in the thumbs left, pretending that I'm holding hands in the circle. And we do our somewhat familiar zikr movement, leaning to the left, straighten, and to the right. When we sing jar, we move to the left. So that first movement is like this. The alabaster jar contains the oil. And then we're going to sidestep once to the right as we sweep our heads over the heart from left to right. Of my devotion. And then we'll repeat that and sidestep to the left. The alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. Then we will walk forward 4 steps, singing Adonai, Adonai Yeshua. As we're walking, our hands are down in a blessing to Yeshua's feet, and we're pulsing our palms as we walk forward in Mary's footsteps, following her path of devotion. So that's Adonai Yeshua. And then we'll walk back 4 steps, cupping our hands first, starting at the Hara center, and then we bring them up through all our centers, opening them up past the heart, opening the heart as we allow the fragrance to be released, the essence, our true nature, to fill the house. So that's Adonai Yeshua, Kala Mashiach. And then we start the dance again. So if we can get our music started, we will begin. The alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. The alabaster jar contains the oil of my devotion. Amen. So continuing, the second most significant event in the Easter story is that Mary was the first person at the tomb on Easter morning, making her the first eyewitness and messenger of the risen Yeshua. And a short time after the alabaster jar, this dance, Rabboni, continued the story. From the Gospel of John, we read, Jesus saith unto her, Mary. She turned herself and saith unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, Master. And this is also translated as teacher from the Aramaic. Rabboni is the name that Mary spoke when she saw Jesus at the tomb, after mistaking him for the gardener, according to some versions of the story. An extended translation it could be beloved master or teacher, which implies tenderness, intimacy, and respect, or an affectionate form of rabbi. In this dance, we are both walking with and as Mary. We feel her despair, her lamentation when approaching the tomb, her joyful recognition of Yeshua in the garden, her exultation when she goes to the imaginal plane when she has sees Jesus in a vision. And then after this experience, Mary proclaims the good news to the disciples and becomes the apostle to the apostles. So again, we'll sing these words and then using the recorded music for the dance. So just two phrases, Rabboni, beloved master, Rabboni, Yeshua. See. Rabboni, beloved master, Rabboni, Yeshua, Rabboni. Sorry, what's my? Oh, okay. Rabboni, beloved master, Rabboni, Yeshua, Rabboni, Yeshua, Rabboni, beloved master, Rabboni, Yeshua, Rabboni, beloved master, Rabboni, Yeshua, Rabboni, Yeshua. In this dance, we are actually living the story with each of these phrases. And when we do it in a circle, we actually are walking in a processional. So if you have room and you want to do that, will work just the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to lead it just standing in place because I don't have enough space here to walk in a circle. So our first movement on the first Rabboni, beloved master, is when we find Mary in grieving, in that state of lamentation after the crucifixion. So we're singing that, our head is bowed, and we are feeling the grief and the despair, the sorrow. Rabboni, beloved master. And then she slowly raises her head as she spies the gardener. She thinks the gardener. And when she recognizes Yeshua, her hands and arms are outstretched to the beloved teacher. So that's the second line. From here, then, Rabboni Yeshua. And then returning in ecstasy, because we now have seen our beloved and know that he has risen. And so that is, again, Rabboni, beloved master. Then we are going to be taking 4 steps forward, raising our cupped hands up to receive the blessings and the teachings, the gnosis that Yeshua shares on that imaginal plane. And it's also here that Mary is guided by Yeshua in the ascent of her soul. So this is this movement here, and then we'll take 4 steps back as we're opening our arms, proclaiming the good news, going out to the disciples to let them know that Jesus is indeed alive. If we were doing this in a dance circle, we would actually be turning out and walking, facing out from the circle. So if you want to dance it that way, that's the way we do that last line. So let's hear our recording, and we start here, walking in Mary's footsteps as she heals the wound. So these two dances are found in the first booklet and CD, and this is the cover. It's it's called Dancing with Mary Magdalene, and it was published in 2010 and contains 20 of the dances that came through during the first 2 years, 2008 and 9. I've always considered this collection to be the foundation dances of the Mary Magdalene cycle. And I encourage those who are interested in leading the dances to begin with this book. And the cover photo is of a batik icon. I don't know if you can see it up on the wall here behind me, vaguely. And I commissioned a very dear, in fact, my best friend forever, who was an artist, to create this batik icon of Mary Magdalene. So it has sort of become the logo for all of this work. So in 2009, I began offering workshops and did the first one here in my hometown. And then for the next few years, I traveled around in the Southeast, spreading the dances wherever I was invited. And during this time, the dances continued to pour in. And ultimately, I published 2 more dance booklets. There are, with the 3 booklets, there are over 50 dances that came through that have been published. During the first book and in the later books as well, not only contain dances that were inspired by the events in Mary's life, but also attributes of Mary and Jesus and their relationship. For instance, Jesus and Mary as the sun and moon of love, the 7 faces of Mary, Mary as the triple goddess, Mary as both the bright and the dark bride, the Kali Kala, and Mary as the daughter of the light. So these are reflected in a number of the dances in all 3 books. So the second book was published in 2013, and that one is called Ya Mariam, Dancing with the Daughter and the Mother. And this contains not only Mary Magdalene dances, but also Mother Mary dances, some of which had come through before I even started the Mary Magdalene work. And then in 2017, the third book called Daughter of the Light. And this included a number of chants as well as dances. So in addition to those, there's still a number of standalone dances and chants that have come through and are still a work in progress that someday will be published in some form. And I'd like to also mention another very profound aspect of this work with Mary Magdalene that comes from a collection of sayings or wisdom teachings that are attributed to her and published by Tao Malachi, who is the leader of a Gnostic Christian organization in California called the Sophian Foundation. These is a collection of 250 verses attributed to Mary Magdalene. They're sort of in the form of like the Gospel of Thomas. They're not organized in any particular way, and no chapters or anything, but very powerful and have inspired a number of chants and dances. In 2016, I began recording an audio series called Chanting the Sayings of Mary Magdalene. And these are all posted on my Bandcamp website page. And you'll find this link in the chat, if not now, by the end of our session tonight. You'll also find some of the dances posted there because I do series novenas a couple of times a year. And so I usually will include some of the dance right up through the chants in those. So at this point, I want to stop and mention several ladies who are here this evening, devotees of Mary Magdalene who have traveled this journey with me, some since the very beginning and some since before the beginning. So if we can all go on a gallery view, I'll just ask them to raise their hands when I call out their names. I'll also try to remember where you're all from when I say that. So first of all, Faranisa Rosa, and there she is in red also. Faranisa is my Sufi guide and dance mentor. So she gets a double dose of everything that happens. And she's from Durham, North Carolina. And then Lucy Oliver from Asheville, North Carolina. Hi, Lucy Zarifa. So glad that you're here. Then we have three ladies who are here who are all in the same room. Nuranisa Nancy Schlessel and Marie Salome, Sally Maxey, and I don't see Subhana. Is she there? Subhana Kathy Graff, who's from Cleveland, and Noor and Salome are up the road from me in Piedmont, South Carolina.
Subhana will be right back. She stepped away momentarily.
Okay. All righty. We'll wait for her when she gets back then.
So Nuranisa and Salome, we both live in Piedmont, which is about 10 minutes away from where you live in Pelzer.
That's right.
A thriving city in
Very
South
handy.
Carolina.
Okay. And then last but certainly not least, Anna Sophia Parker, our emissary from down under in Australia. And I just want to say that over the years, these women have always shown up. Their unwavering devotion to this work, it just fills my heart. And I could not do it without them. So I'm so pleased to have them here tonight and to let you all meet them. So now, Anna, I'm going to turn it over to her. I've invited her to share some of her experiences from her recent pilgrimage to southern France, where she had the opportunity to introduce these dances. And also, while there, a new dance came through her. So she's going to share that with us as well. So I'll turn it over to you now, Anna.
Well, thank you. While I'm getting on the spotlight, I want to say how the whole journey started. We planned a pilgrimage many years ago. Oh, well, COVID year. And then that couldn't happen. So this year I thought, well, I just turned 70. So if not now, when? So I got that strong pull to go. And I thought, well, if I'm over there, I might as well find out, who, get in touch with the organizers. So, and so I couldn't even remember the name of Fabienne at one time. And suddenly, just when I had that thought, next time I went to the computer, she just flashed up on the screen. It was incredible, the email. So I don't know if I'm on Spotlighted at the moment because I'm still seeing myself in gallery view. And Yusuf, can we get the photos up? So I got in touch with her and she immediately replied to me. And I want to show you a photo of her when Yusuf gets the things up. Yeah. So I'll go through them gradually. But anyway, I thought, oh, well, I'm over there, so I'll have a cup of tea. But before that, when I said, oh, I'm doing this pilgrimage, my two good friends, Alana and Brigitte, said, oh, that's her, that's Fabienne, that's up there, here you go, that's Fabienne. So Fabienne said, oh, yes, you're not just going to come for a cup of tea. I live in that area in Bugarach. So you're coming to do 2 nights at Temple du Cardo, and I'm going to take you to the caves. So that's beautiful, Fabienne, that we were organising things with. And my good friends, Alana and Brigitte from Australia said, oh, you're not going to go on your own. We're coming with you. So, you know, we had the triple goddess. Oh, yes, down here, actually, a little bit further down, I don't know if I can do, just further down, we can see all of us here. This one, the team. Here go, the team. Yeah. Here's the team. So Ashani said, oh, well, then we have to do something at the Cave of St. Baume, which is up from Marseille. So she organised the leg of the journey that was on the other side of Provence. And then we have Brigitte. Then my beautiful friend Raymunda gave me a big surprise because she was in France at the time and just turned up. So she was with us for the whole pilgrimage. Then there's myself and Fabienne and Alana, who did a lot of driving and videography, and everyone was just a team. We were really happy. So when we go to the top of this, we'll see the Cathar country, and I'll try and whiz through the photos and I'll show you just from the top. So that's the beautiful country, quite craggy, and there's a lot of these crops of rocks. They're called the dragon something, I can't remember, but the dragon skeleton or something. And that's a powerful ley line which is related with the Mary Magdalene energy. So that's all through the country we saw these like huge crops of rocks coming down like a skeleton. So on the next photo, we have in the cave, coming out of the cave. Now these caves were really quite high up, which I wasn't aware of. So this whole pilgrimage really stretched my capacity and my knees and my legs for the whole journey, but that's what pilgrimages are about. So now I've got new legs, new knees, because I've had to do all these things that I didn't want to do. But I did them for the devotion of Mary Magdalene and to experience things. So the next photo you'll see in one of the caves, a very beautiful energy there. And we did rituals with Fabienne, and they have some heart-shape things. So then, and then the next slide, you can see we're there in Rennes-les-Bains, and we had a beautiful, this is called the Temple du Cadeau. We had a large gathering of people here, and the harpist, whose name I'll just forgotten right now. Oh, can you help me out, Amina? What was the harpist's name? Give me book one. Anyway, she played with us and shared an evening, and so that was really, gorgeous. We had that great sharing. And so then we went, one of the times we went to the Rennes-le-Chateau, which is a very powerful power centre, and that's the entrance to it. And there's a lot of sacred geometry and a lot of concentration on Mary Magdalene in here. And so, of course, I bought a whole book on it to find out how on earth they constructed these things in the middle, it seemed, of like nowhere and out of rocky crags. And they were sacred geometry experts, and they lined up the sun and the dates and the astrology and everything. They were master mathematicians. They had a music room there, in the music room, just under Fabienne's photo. Yeah, so there was a pianist here, David, last name, David Lorimer, I think it was, and he played meditation of Mary Magdalene every afternoon. So you could just sit there for an hour and do this beautiful, spacious meditation that took you right into the energy. And he still, you can get in touch with him, and he does meditations of healing through music every Sunday afternoon. So that's, was a real blessing. The next one was outside the cave. You can see the narrow entrance up the top there, and Fabienne was doing a ritual, and we sang the cave in the alabaster jar before we came up there, and we did it in French. So that was one dance that really worked well in French. And then the next one, we have a picture of Rennes-le-Chateau as we were walking there. That was Brigitte and Alana and myself. And then inside the chapel itself, you see these beautiful statues of Mary and the angels around her. And the inside, you can see the ceiling. The next one is the ceiling here. It's beautiful. Yeah. Then we've got next one, next slide. Yes, this is the entrance actually to Saint Maximine. So we've crossed over there. That's okay. So in Saint Maximine, this was on the way to the cave of Saint Baume, and this is where the relics of Mary Magdalene were. So inside there, that was at the beginning, that was the door. They had always beautiful doorways. And there was the dark Madonna. However, over the years, she got painted up white. It's interesting. So the church was uncomfortable with her being black, and she was painted white. And then inside that basilica is actually a cathedral that has a historical significance. And we see the tomb of Mary Magdalene. It's coming close to it. That was the entrance of it. And people will put their prayers around the statue of Mary Magdalene. And this is the tomb itself, Mary Magdalene tomb. And isn't it interesting, over her face, she really has that Kali look with the skull that you can see there. So they couldn't hide the dark there. She was the dark and the light. That was a beautiful part of the tomb. So then we have, the Artemis Forest. This is where we walked through to the cave of Saint Baume. So this walk took us 2 hours uphill. It was quite a pilgrimage. And then we come into the chapel, which was really beautiful inside, and the light. And again, it was a contrast of dark and light, inside dark, outside light. And inside the chapel itself, there was a section there, right, and that was on the way down. There was like 3 layers of it. So I said, boy, Mary's cave, Mary Magdalene's cave was like a penthouse suite. It wasn't just this little cave, it was humongous and had these different levels. So that was one level, and then we'll show you another level. But this is, I'm sorry, the photos aren't all in order, didn't get them organised. But the next one was the group when we were outside, because we did 2 hours of dancing, 2 or 3 hours of dancing before we climbed up the mountain for 2 hours. And there was something called the King's Way, which we didn't do, but was much easier. And this was the way that the emperors and kings and the people who were the nobles would come to the cave, but they would take their horse and carriages there. So, and this is the entrance to the cave, the next one. So you can see this beautiful light and dark. Oh, well, I can see, I'll show you there. That's the light and the dark. So the dark inside, the light on the outside, and it's like the tree that holds the balance of the two together. It was a very sublime thing. Now, this photo was of us dancing, the next one. And check this out. I never really noticed this, but we did the standing stone ritual. So out of the middle is a shaft of light. But I didn't notice there was another shaft of light that was coming right down into my heart. So that's just was really amazing. So, you know, this, what we're doing is really alive. When we're invoking Mary Magdalene, the standing stone rituals, the daughter of light is there. And she shows us in the photos, she's there. And the next photo is after we've climbed this mountain, and then we're there and we're thinking, oh no, it's not the end of the climb. There's hundreds of stairs more to go before we get there. So we dutifully climb. There was, I know I sent another photo which we'll show you, but this is the lower part of the cave of Saint Baume, and this is where Mary Magdalene's chapel is. And you can see her there surrounded by the angels and lots of candles. So this is where we danced as well. And just outside of this, of the cave itself, there is a monastery. You can just see it on the side there, just a little one on the side, carved out of the rock. Heaven knows how they did these things. But that was the John Cassian Monastery. This is another, the next one shows you what it looks like looking from, oh no, actually that was the one with the pilgrims. But we've got one just two more down. This is John Cassian, actually, the next slide. There, that's the picture looking up. And this was done in the 400 AD. It was a monastery for both men and women. And the Irish saints, like St. Patrick, St. Cassian, the Desert Fathers and Mothers, they'd all come here, and then they take the teachings of the way and the way of love of Mary Magdalene back to their home countries. So, and then we have on the way there was, when we went a little bit further, some of us didn't go that far, it was a picture of John Cassian. So that was obviously a much higher path that took you around to the John Cassian monastery, St. Cassian Monastery. And this is a picture further down of all the pilgrims that did the that collected. We had over 30 that collected for the cave of St. Baum. It was a very significant time, for some of them had never been to the cave, they'd heard of it. So it was like a fulfillment of some kind of vision or prophecy for them, that they were all going to honor Mary Magdalene in that way. Okay, and then this, in the hostelry, which is where there's Mary Magdalene paintings, so I'll show you a couple of those. Beautiful, like frescoes, in that fresco sort of style of Mary Magdalene at the bottom of the cave. I don't know, she must have flown. I don't know how she'd get up there, but they say the angels took her up 3 times, 3 times a day, or 4 or 5 times a day, to be fed by celestial sounds. And you can see her there in the next painting there. That's how the angels are lifting her up. But she also, from this place, it said that she was here for 30 years. She preached around the countryside. It was amazing. And then outside the cave, there was another area there. And that's where we danced at the end. And that's outside the cave is the next picture. And then, yes, beautiful. So we danced our closing dance. This is a picture of those stairs I was telling you about. And it's quite interesting from the aerial view how you can see that they were formulated. And then there's a picture of St. Maximin inside where the relics were held, and the outstanding stones. So whenever I go and do a ritual, I ask the presenters to find the stones in their own area, and they draw the symbols on them, and then they take it back to their garden or their place of sacred worship, so that energy is there with them all the time. So I don't have to carry it around. And also in the cave, there's a lot of water, which we know water is associated with Mary, and that the M or the Mem of Hebrew is a representative of water. So yeah, lots of water in the cave. Let's see what else I've got. Probably that's it, I think, for that slide. Is that it? I think so. Yeah. So that was the short and curly of our trip. But of course, there's much more to relate, and just wanted to show you.
Anna, I'm going to have to interrupt you because we've run out of time. Okay. I'm so sorry, but
that's it.
We can, depending on what folks would like to do, we can stay a little longer. But please do feel free to leave if you need to. And if anybody would like to stay with any questions or sharing, we'd be happy to spend some time with that.
Okay.
Minir, do you have anything that you want to close with?
Yeah, I'll sing that song that came through for me.
So what we'll do is hear Anna Sophia as with the song that came through on this trip. After that, we will, for those who wish to have any kind of conversation with our leaders, we will take 7 or 8 minutes max. And then after that, oftentimes we have a open greetings period for about 5 minutes only. So feel free to take leave at any point that you need to take leave. We're just always grateful for when people bring presence, intention, concentration in the name of unity, and especially for this incredibly wide gathering. Yusuf reminded me that Khaloud was here from Tunisia. We have people who are on our caravan, our dance caravan in Turkey as well. And Azuf, great, good to see you. Raimunda is here, and Elena from Australia, and others from Australia. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sense of connection across the globe around this love of the feminine. So Anna, please share with us what this piece
Okay.
as our closing number 1, and then we'll have some open conversation, and
Yeah.
we'll have closing number 2. Okay.
Yes. Okay, I'm just going to play it through for you. So, Yusuf, if you can put the words in the chat and people can see it. And it's actually was inspired by the dance, which I was just going to show you a clip at the end of this, which I think I will, because it's only 30 seconds. And it comes from Amina's dance in the cave of my heart. And of course, we're in a lot of caves, and the cave represents that deep recess in our being where we meet the beloved. And so that's where the words Ishkala Mabudlila or Mabudela come from. So here it's in the cave of my heart, dans la grotte de mon cœur, j'entends le son. And the slight difference is I hear the sound of my beloved. And I was wondering why it's different from the song, because the sound is the infinite tender love breathing through the whole body. And it's not just Yeshua, but it's the tender love and the embrace of the Divine Mother that we met through the trip as well. So in the cave of my heart, I hear the sound of my beloved singing Ishq, Ishqallah. Dans la grotte de mon cœur, j'entends le son de mon bien-aimé. J'entends Ishqallah. So it goes on. So it was with this beautiful, deep tenderness and this holy joy that we ended our pilgrimage, because it is all the love, it's the pain and the suffering that we hold in our body, but also the infinite love and joy and compassion that is the balance of the true human existence, and what Mary Magdalene and Yeshua came to show. So I just love to see that clip of us in the cave passing the light of the daughter of light and Mary. Yeah. Thank you.
And we always say at the end of a program, Ya Mariam.
Ya Mariam.